Booyah. We should have audio, I hope. Hopefully you guys are having an awesome evening. Let's see. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go. Awesome sauce. My bad, y'all. It took me a minute to hop on here, man. So you guys may or may not know, probably don't. I'm about to start building, right? I haven't been building in a while, like not intentionally, right? Like some people come onto the team and they join and stuff like that. But like, yeah, I've seen a lot of stuff happening right now, and the way the company's moving, I'm like, oh, it's about to get lit. So I don't want to be missing out on all the hotness that's coming, because obviously, like with me being, you know, educator, I travel and I know what was going on. I talk to corporate, I talk to the higher ups and all of that. So the stuff that they're bringing to the table for the company is like, dude, I want to have as many people as I can plugged in now before things just go crazy. You know, some people are like, oh, I hate builder talk. I hate when the educators talk about building. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. I understand. But I'm just at a place right now where I'm like, I've done really well with teaching people how to understand markets and Forex and crypto and understanding structure using Fibonacci. And I'm like, I feel like we did the hard part a little bit. Like we got the trading stuff like out the way, right? Like we understand that, hey, we throw a fib on it, we good, right? Like it's kind of cocky feeling, but it's like, yeah, we understand it for the most part. We have good success with what we do. And I'm just at a place where I felt like, and this is kind of me just going on a little bit of a rant, but I'll get into the session in a second. Like, I feel like I've got comfortable, right? Like, I kind of got comfortable with just the vibe of being the educator. I'm the guy who comes on and breaks down crypto and we do this thing. And I'm watching my bro Mike, you know, do his thing with his team. And I'm watching, you know, Nick Gomez work with his team. And I'm seeing the energy, and I'm like, yeah, bro, I gotta build a squad, bro. Like I'm every time I go to an event, I'm running around doing masterminds for everybody's organizations and teams. I'm like, it's lit. I love doing that. But I'm like, I want to do something for my team, man. I want to be able to have a whole thing. So I wanted to, you know, just kind of sit down and revamp. So I've been kind of like making phone calls and getting everybody. They're like, wait, you about to? I'm like, yep, I'm about to do the thing. It's happening. So everybody's kind of like getting excited, and everybody's calling me like, oh, snap, Kurt's about to build. He's going to make chairman. And I'm like, yeah, and our goal is literally going to just be everybody just, you know, everybody help 3 get 3. Like, I just want to make sure everybody on my team minimum can be a P600. Because if everybody helps 3 get 3, then we have a sustainable, you know, ecosystem where everybody can pay their subscription and be able to have money to put into their portfolio or fund their MC4s and just trade and learn Fibonacci. The rest will take care of itself after that, right? So I'm like, dude, this is like no brainer. Just help everybody go P6, and then you're gonna have some people that are gonna keep that model going, and then eventually you'll start seeing chairman pop and all that good stuff. So yeah, that's just been my thought process. Let's see here, it says used to have a team with Chrissy. Yeah, I just got the phone with Chrissy a little while ago. Like Chrissy never stopped. She's always been doing her thing, but she's got other responsibilities right now. But we may see her jump back on. Like there's rumors that she may end up being, you know, bigger than a moderator soon. Right? Who knows? So, cause she's really smart at what she does. She's very intelligent. She's very well versed. She knows everything I know, right? When it comes to crypto, like she's been around me, like going on what 4 years now. She's been on the team. So yeah, like she's a beast at what she does. So yeah, here's the whole thing. Let's see. So yeah, that's just my spiel. It's my spiel right now. I've just been trying to get everybody in a position to just, you know, get a bag and make sure people can really take advantage of things. Cause part of it for me is, and I told you guys one of my biggest fears is that the government shuts down all the on-ramps so people can't even have the option to buy crypto. That would break my heart. Like for everybody to be on the sideline and watch the markets just go crazy and you can't even get in. There's no on-ramp on Coinbase or Binance or anything. Like you're just stuck on the sideline watching. Like, yeah, I don't want that for anybody. So just saying. Let me see here. Says I'm weak at building, struggle getting people on board. They just don't believe in it. So one of the things I found, Mike, is when you have issues with building, it's usually either the approach sometimes is off, or the frequency is sometimes is off. Like some people just don't get it right away. The vision doesn't align for them the first time. I've noticed too, when people tell you no, it's always not right now. Because I got folks from like 2-3 years ago, like, bro, are you still doing the? And I'm like, well, wait a minute, where was all that no energy at, right? Like, and then a lot of people are gonna start to feel a lot of pain coming up, right? Like the way the money's looking, we see in agreements from other nations. Like the dollar may start looking to get a little weird if we see Saudi Arabia cut the ties with the what is it, the petrodollar. So things are going to start looking weird inside the country, and it's like people's jobs, people's money isn't going to go as far as it normally goes. So it's like, yeah, it's a whole thing right now. We're just seeing people kind of get caught up in some weird energy. And if you're already in a company, no, you cannot re-sign up underneath me, guys. Like, please don't do that. Like, I don't like that. Like, I'm not a big fan of, I'm going to sit out for 6 months and come back in, or I'm going to change my, like, no, I don't like all of that. Like, just because you're in DCX, you on my team. Like, I need you to know that part. Like, just because you're inside of DCX, I'm going to treat you like you're on my team. Everybody that joins my team just comes to the Go Labs. Like, I don't do special Zoom calls unless we're building. That's literally it. Most of that stuff is just me focused on getting my team, prepared to be leaders. That's all it really boils down to. Okay. I know people be like, I'm going to do it. Like, no. It's the same stuff you're going to get. Just come to Go Live. It's going to be me here doing work with y'all. All right. So, quick refresh of CoinGecko. We got Bitcoin coming back to around 27, a little bit of a pullback. We got Ethereum still hanging out around 18, and we got BNB at 300, a little bit of a pullback. Everything's having a little bit of a pull, right? Look at some of the top performers. Man, we got some nice growth right now from SXP. This thing has jumped up 200% in the last 7 days. Obviously, Dogecoin is up because Elon's making tweets about Doge coming to Twitter, right? Injective Protocol is looking up right now. This is the competitor to Synthetics. Really like Injective. One of the products I had on our list a while back. Big fan of it still to this day. Nothing wrong with it. I think it's going to have tons of use case coming up in the future. All right, let's see here. We got Chiliz, which is a social coin. Everybody knows about Chiliz. So real quick, let's go over here to the chart. And just want to talk to you guys a little bit about what I've been seeing here, right? So this right here, Bitcoin at the moment, we know we're running into a zone where we have a bit of a drop, base, drop, right? This area right here holds a lot of selling pressure. Now, the thing is, we've spent good amount of time here. We got 1 week, 2 week, 3 week. We're headed towards 4 weeks chilling at this level right now. Whole lot of stuff happening right now, guys. I need you to know, like, inside of this kind of stuff, you don't want to get caught chasing it or feeling like, oh, I got to hurry up and get into a buy, right? If anything, I'm looking at these areas and I'm going down to lower time frames and I'm trying to figure out, what does it look like, right? Do I have a high? Do I have a low? Do I have a lower high? Do I have a lower low? Do I have a lower high? Do I have a lower low? Oh, we're basically trending down, right? So stuff like that, you want to start looking out for. That just goes a long way for me. Even over here, right? We had a high, we had a low, lower high, no lower low. Then we pulled up, lower high, then we finally made a lower low. So it's not consistent, and all of a sudden, boom, we get a big breakout. Now we're getting that consistency that I was just talking about, where you see the high point, you see the low point, you see the lower high, you see the lower low, you see the lower high, you see the lower low, right? Everything is literally breaking down, breaking down, breaking down, all right? Like, so you want to get into that kind of vibe with what you're doing to get a better understanding. So for me, if I see any pullbacks, it looks really good for a sale. Hence, one of the reasons why we have a sale for this already lined up on the Swipecoin app, right? Like, it's just, Danny dropped a sale on this. And I agree with it. It makes sense. We're at a zone where we see a lot of supply, right? A lot of selling pressure. We're spending time here. Yeah, we're spending a good amount of time, but we're finally starting to see this weaken a little bit. I don't know if the dollar is going to get stronger anytime soon, but the dollar is at a very interesting point down here at these levels. So I want to see if the dollar is going to start to bounce back up, maybe see a little bit of a rally or a jump. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of things happening at one time. But for me, this all really boils down to just being patient and allowing this dollar to really kind of finish its move and seeing where we're at right now. For the most part, guys, any pullback from here, yes, it's still bullish, right? I told you guys before, when we had this pull up, this move up, we had made a higher high from the previous high. When this pullback happened, I told you guys, any pullback from that was bullish, from the last low point to the high point. Definitely was bullish. What did we do? Landed right in 50% 618 zone, and boom, we got our buyer momentum exactly where we needed to see it. So from this standpoint, what am I seeing? Low point, potentially to the highest closing candle over here, high point. I can't use this fib because obviously it hasn't retraced yet because it's a Fibonacci retracement tool. So if this was our hypothetical high, right, I would need to see the market pull back maybe to a 50% 618 zone for another buy opportunity. And if you look left, what do we see? Rally, base, rally. All right, that nice little rally, pause, and move out the area fast. And then you look left, what do we see? High point, low point, broke above, made a higher high. So there could be some nice buyer momentum here at between 23 and 24K. If we just come running all the way down and we break past all these levels, the next zone, guys, is still back down here at around 16. Right? It wasn't a fast takeoff, but it was a nice gradual, and then boom, we picked up strength. So I like what I'm seeing from Bitcoin holding at these levels for bullish momentum. The dollar right now is still in a little flux. It's a lot of stuff going on at once. And I kind of talked about this earlier when I was on the Zoom call with Abdullah. Shout out to Abdullah and the squad. I was talking about how we're at a place where Bitcoin was literally created for this moment. Like, there's no nice way to say, like, hey, it could do anything. People were like, bro, that's kind of like vague as all get out. But it's true. Like, at this point, Bitcoin is literally kind of going against the norm of its typical cycle. And I say that because we're already seeing crazy buyer momentum from a point where we had seen zero relief rally for almost, what is it, from 2021 all the way down here to 2023 before we broke out, right? So almost like a good year and a half of just like nothing. No buyers getting excited, nothing. Just a little bit of a jump, crazy fall up, a little bit of a rise up, and back down again, and stalling out, bigger drop off, right? And now all of a sudden we get crazy buyer momentum out of nowhere, and we see banks starting to fall apart. Right? And then we start seeing Russia and Ukraine war still going on, and now we got China, Russia, what is it? Brazil, India, South Africa, all coming together. I've been screaming about the BRICS agreement for the longest. And now we got all these things like the perfect storm lining up to potentially knock the dollar off its high horse, and Bitcoin can take the move to the upside. And people were saying, what about stocks? What about gold? What about all these other things? This is a time right now where I'm like, the volatility index right now is at a low. It's moving down again. We haven't seen any kind of jump back up. We haven't seen any kind of news from the Fed. April right now isn't any real big Fed news coming out. And we know typically when things like this are happening, when a dollar tends to drop off and get boring and make these lows, typically something dramatic happens in the news. With us having no Fed news this month, they can't use that as a scapegoat. We may see a black swan event, and this is the part where I have to be very, very clear, because y'all know Kurt, he's the conspiracy guy. Everybody wants to just label me as a conspiracy dude, but I always have a point to what I'm saying to you guys. And usually I'm like, it's like right there, right? Like something weird pops off, and I'm like, I'm just saying, y'all been seeing this weird alien stuff. Like, yeah, out of nowhere, the news gets weird, right? So I'm simply saying that we may have a scenario where a black swan event may pop up at any moment. And if we see now that Russia has an agreement with China, and we know that US and China aren't really at the best terms because of what's going on with Taiwan, we may see a full-fledged war with the United States and China, forcing Russia to have to ally China. And now we have a literal world war. That could be a thing. And if that happens, it forces every nation to have to pick a side. So then you have the BRICS countries versus everybody else. And it can be all because America forces everybody else's hand to have to choose a side. Yeah. And that's what we don't want. So when I see stuff like this, and the volatility index has just been kind of meandering along, nothing really volatile happening, that doesn't usually work out too well. Like I'll show you over here, like when it was kind of hanging out, and finally big spike up, right, comes down into the the third, or was it 13s, and we see another big spike up, and it just kind of hangs out and does it again. Guys, we haven't come down into these areas for a while. If we start seeing the volatility index die down and it hits some of these areas where we get into the 13s and 10s, that's usually the territory for black swan news. I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest. Like, I don't like talking about this kind of conspiracy stuff and getting weird, but I know what it looks like when economies have the potential of imploding. The one thing that is healthy for economies, and I don't like saying it, but historically, war is healthy for economies. And the thing is, most presidents that are looking to get a second term, they like to kind of start the war at the last year of their first term. Because now no one likes to have a new president while a war is going on, because now you have no idea what their policies are going to be like. So Byron may look to get real aggressive all 2024. And if we start seeing him, you know, like throwing his pills around and he throws his cane and then he starts spitting and his teeth get all crooked and stuff, like, you got to know is that old age thing. It's like, you know how they yell, like, get it off the grass. Like, they hate you when you're on their lawn. He may do that. So you got to be on the lookout for stuff like that. Like, I'm just, for me, guys, I'll say this and I'll get back into the sauce for a second. I don't like to do typical research. I like to go deeper with my research, right? That's just how I am. I love doing it. It makes me more satisfied about the result when I do it that way. Like, prime example, let's say if I want to look at oil, right? I'm not going to stare at the chart of oil to see if the oil market's going to go up or down. I'm going to go to Google Maps and I'm going to look up top oil refineries, and I want to get the zoomed in view to see if their reserves are high or low. And if I see that the reserves are casting a shadow because there's little ceilings on the oil tankers, like those big circles that hold the oil, and they back the trucks up and dump all the stuff into trucks, and it keeps on going. It's like, these things are giant. They're like the size of like maybe like a baseball diamond. These things are big, and they're just big giant circles filled with oil, and they raise up and fall down when they're low. If I go to Google Maps and I see that they're low, then I know the price of oil may go higher. Because if there's less of something and there's still a demand, obviously there's a demand for oil, boom, we're going to see it go higher. If I see all of them have been topped out, and I'm thinking, yeah, price may have to come down a little bit, I know oil may want to start to drop to make it more attractive for people to start getting more oil. So it's a thing. It's a whole thing. But that's the type of research I want to do. So when I'm looking at stuff like this stuff for me is like, yeah, something ain't stirring the Kool-Aid, and the news has been pretty quiet. And then the volatility index is getting pretty low, and I'm seeing Bitcoin make a couple nice, you know, volatile moves, but now we're stalling out. Like I just showed you guys, we've been here for weeks at a level. That's usually not the best sign when Bitcoin starts to stall after big spikes, right? Just saying. So I want to see how this plays out. I want to see if we're going to be able to make moves from here, if we're going to break into the zone and see some volatility, or if we're going to start to fall back down. Because my thing is this. Most people on the sideline right now are saying, I'm not very confident about investing. But also, I'm not confident about what's going on with this dollar. So if they know something's going on with the dollar, they're not going to be looking to jump into, you know, any kind of real long-term position. They're going to be looking to make quick plays to exit the dollar. They're going to look to get into gold. They're going to look to get into, you know, assets. They're going to look to get into some foreign currencies. And some people are going to just say, I'm going to grab Bitcoin. I'm going to get into crypto. I'm going to jump into this stuff right now. All right. No, this could definitely be a RBR. But once again, this is a strong zone of selling pressure. Yes, we're spending a lot of time here. If we see horrible dollar news, this could be the base rally for sure. But if we start seeing things start to mellow out a little bit and the dollar starts to find a little more certainty, these banks start to kind of slow down and they stop being as weird, we can start seeing Bitcoin look to sell off again because the Fed can keep the pace going like they've been going. So for the most part, you got to be mindful of that. And then on the other side, I'm doing my best not to start spilling the beans on certain coins. Because, like, bro, I've been looking at coins all week, right? Just refining the list, getting everything together, making sure it makes sense. Like, let me see if I can show you guys something real quick. So when I did the last list, the last watch list, we had, right, the multiple tiers and all that good jazz. And when I was showing you guys, here we go. Okay, so I'll give you guys an example. When I was showing you guys the list, right, you notice this is, you know, back 2020, right before Christmas, or right after Christmas, should I say. And I gave you guys the main cap coin or mid cap coins, and then I gave you guys like the substitutes for some of these as well. So like if we see some of these fall off, you guys were able to come in and grab some of the other ones, right? So we know Synthetix was beautiful, phenomenal, always been a great project in my eyes. Energy Web Token, Balancer, Kusama, Aave, Ren, Ocean, API3, Sora, Celsius, back when it was legit, right? Compound and Curve. Some of these were in their early days, but I had backups. Even when the market started to shift, we reallocated and did things. So I knew Synthetix wasn't seeing a lot of jumps, but I was seeing some potential hope. Let me see if I can go back a little bit. Oh, I was seeing some hope in other projects because I knew Synthetix was every time. All right, let me see. I got to go to Pip Talk again and do this again. Let me see here. Actually, I could just do this because I logged into it the last time from here. So, yeah, perfect. I don't even know if this is still up here or not. Let me see. Yeah, here it is. Okay. So this was the low cap list, right? We had Robonomics, Matic, Helium, Anchor, Argon, Parsec, Rocket Pool, 2020. I rest my case. DuckDAO, Share Token, ChainX, Marlin, Unibright, Ramp, Union Protocol, Bridge Protocol, Bondly, Injective Protocol, right? So projects like this that were around back in the day, everybody was like, oh yeah, whatever, I don't really know. We saw the opportunity, but I tell you guys all the time, like, you don't want to come in dumping crazy amounts in, and I give you guys options for certain projects because I know there's going to be some wiggle room where adoption is going to come in. So the research is there. It's been vetted. You guys can look at some of these projects from back then and see what the prices were and how far they went. Like, a lot of these things went crazy. Like, literally, this one alone was game changer for a lot of people, right? And we showed you guys where to get them from, all of that stuff. This time, we can't give you guys all the different exchanges, so you got to do your own research. But, it's just a testament to the work that was done and making sure you guys have that opportunity to come in and win at a crazy rate. All right. See here, it says, Kurt, do you take entries for crypto on 1 minute, 5 minute time frames in the HFT zone? So most of the time, my setups are only like 30 minutes. The lowest time frame I go to is on 30-minute setup. Oh, 30-minute time frame, I'm sorry. Energy Web Token with the question mark. I love Energy. If you're saying if I still like it, I love Energy Web. Energy Web is dope. See here, it says, Kurt, what are your thoughts on VeChain? It's amazing. I don't know. Like, have you guys been on my GoLab sessions? I love VeChain. Like, I don't know if you guys be paying attention. Like, when I be talking about projects, like, VeChain is dope. Like, I talk about it all the time. Says you was late. You owes 1 coin, 1 rule. Okay. Says I honestly think it's checkmate for us already. I mean, it's pretty much a lose-lose in some categories. But checkmate, not necessarily. It's not all bad. We're not like on our last leg, but it's fixable if the right people take control. If we just let everybody have a voice, yeah, we're screwed. We're for sure screwed. All right, see here. Owes us 1 coin. Yeah, y'all silly. Y'all gonna keep on pushing this 1 coin thing. Let's see here. It says, is Curse Pip Talk working? Yeah, I just don't use it a lot because I'm like always doing stuff. Let's see here. I remember coming in late studying those lists. Man, because oh my God, my first list from start, Fridays, nights, the Saturdays was like, yeah, the Fridays and Saturday classes was wild. I miss doing them, but like I'm on the road so much. If I was still doing Fridays and Saturday classes, I would never do Go Live. I would just be on the road every week, and y'all be like, bro, does he even still teach? Because dude, like I had to revamp my schedule because everything just went crazy after the first coin list. People knew they realized I knew what I was talking about, I guess. Like, oh, turns out the guy knows what he's doing. Right? It was a whole thing. He's not just funny, he's smart, right? Like it was a whole vibe. And Kurt, we trust, no questions there. No, I appreciate you, bro. Like, but the thing is, everything I do, I want to be able to make it duplicatable for you guys too. See here, different exchanges. Says, are there CoinGecko? Scroll down, easy peasy. Man, dude, like, you be amazed, Stormchild, like, how many people just don't want to scroll down on CoinGecko? Like, oh my God, I have to find where they're at? Can't you just tell me? I'm like, bro, this is ridiculous. Like, I did all the work to make sure these things were lit, and you can't even go on the website to find them? Right? Like, you can't even use your Googler? I don't get it. I don't get it. Everybody keep asking me why do I keep drinking out this cup? This is a KFC cup. So the thing is, I like KFC. There you go. All right, so it says I missed the weekends, but but the travels, yeah, I do. I travels way too much. See here. Says, is this what we got me hooked on DCX, those Friday night sessions, because no one else was home? Right, did nobody want to do Friday nights? I was like the last educator on the website. I used to laugh and joke, like, I'm the one who, I got to cut off the lights every week. I'm like, all right, guys, good night, John Boy. Right? That was like a thing we used to do. Like, good night, John Boy. Good night, Mary Ellen. You got to be old to get that joke, by the way. It's like this old show called The Waltons. Never mind, I sound old even explaining it. All right. Says, can you just put the you just put the money in my pocket, like, basically, bro. See here, this is just like the dollar in the pocket thing in Orlando. I'm telling you, it's a thing. It's a whole thing. Says, yep. Make this stuff exciting. Anybody who don't want to do the work, didn't want to win. Man, like, that was, and it was funny because everybody be like, man, you really are like the best club. Like, I could be out partying right now, but I'm hanging out with you. And then the Saturday sessions was like, it was like the live at 5s on Saturday. So I would come in, like, mind you, my life was all, that's how you knew my life was all research, because I wasn't doing nothing on the weekends. I'd be in the house waiting on Go Live to start just so I could rock out with y'all. Man, dude, they used to be fun though. We used to have, remember the basement parties? Like, we used to have the 2 Go Lives going because we had the old website. We were transitioning to the new website, and folks would be on the old website still watching me. And it was like a basement party. Like, everybody would be over there cussing in the chat. I'm like, bro, y'all crazy over here. We used to call it the basement party because it was just no rules. See here, you gotta love that big bucket of KFC. Says, man, I was there. Club Crypto used to be pop. It did. It did. Says, Pip Talk blows. Says, don't blame you not using it much. I mean, I used to use it a lot, but then it was like times I would be posting stuff and it wouldn't show up and people wouldn't get the alerts. It was a thing. It was a thing. Let me see here, the Walton. All right. Says, I'm a KFC connoisseur. This COVID was lit for those Fridays. No, I'm not gonna lie, I don't even want to say it like that, but like, COVID probably was like the most lit time for Go Live for all the educators, because it was like the numbers were ridiculous back then. Like, oh my gosh, man. Like, I remember doing Go Live sessions during COVID where it was like 3,000, 4,000. Like, it was like one time, my max I think I've seen was like maybe like 5-6 grand on one Go Live, and the chat was just, you couldn't even read it. It was just going. I'm like, this is, I kind of didn't like it. It was like, I kind of like how we are when we have like these more intimate sessions where I can just kind of read the chat, respond to you guys, and like every joke we can kind of like go through and just talk about it, or everything I'm going through with Fibs, we can kind of talk about it. It just hit different. See here, says the Michigan basement parties just hit different. No, they do. They do E-Money. Like, it's a whole nother thing, bro. Like, I've been to, growing up, everybody used to have basement parties when I was a kid. So yeah, Michigan basement parties, Detroit basement parties. House music is a thing. See here, it says, Kurt, should we swap out old Quick Swap for the new Quick Swap? I would hope so. Like, I don't want you holding on to the old stuff if that blockchain is evolving. See here, the whole world was watching. Literally, yes. Are we still looking for another dip for BTC? I'm looking for 25K possibly. This is, what do you think? So right now, it really does depend on what's going on with the dollar and what the U.S. next move is going to be. And that's why I said, when I see stuff like this happening, when the markets kind of get to a standstill and the news is quiet and there's all these volatile things happening overseas, we usually get some kind of wild black swan situation, right? When COVID happened, I was literally on sessions with you guys watching it spread across Europe. And I was like, hey. And it was like, yeah, it got weird. So I don't feel like we're getting that weird, but it is getting noticeable. Like the patterns start to pick up, and I'm seeing the same old, same old, same old, same old. So yeah, we could see another dip potentially with the market kind of coming up, hanging out. Like I would love to see a big breakout. That would have been dope. But since we're hanging out here, and we talked about how these areas are filled with selling pressure. These were all built for buyers, 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 and then all of a sudden, crazy selling pressure. So us coming up to this level and kind of like putting the brakes on, like all of this, slowing down all this buyer momentum. Like the sellers right now, we're kind of holding them off. And then, you know, we were thinking the buyers were going to just shoot through here, and the sellers held them. We may see at any moment a big swath of sellers or people that have been holding from these positions, maybe these buyers here, from here and here, look to take profit. All right, if they start taking profit, then we start seeing that drop off. And the thing is, the thing that makes them take profit is usually fear. So if they see any kind of, you know, resurgence of dollar dominance, and we start seeing growth from the dollar, that could be the biggest catalyst. So I keep telling you guys, like, pay attention to the dollar, pay attention to the dollar. We're at a level right now where the dollar is at a place where it could absolutely take off. But if the dollar is still kind of, you know, on the fringes of getting information from the Fed, getting information from the president, and you guys keep seeing like we're getting really weird regulations from the SEC trying to call in every single exchange. All these banks right now are being insolvent. Like there's just all these different odd things that keep aiming at crypto, right? How convenient that the first 4 banks that failed were crypto-friendly banks, right? And now all of a sudden we're seeing, what's her name, Elizabeth Warren creating an anti-crypto army to pretty much slow down the movement. So they know that people have the option to opt out of the dollar, but they're trying to slow down any off-roads. Like really think about the thought process of what we're talking about. If we know the dollar is on a really, really rough road and people have the opportunity to exit and not stick around, this is the first time in history we've had this option. When 2008 happened, we didn't have the option to go get into anything. Yeah, people bought gold. Yeah, people tried to trade and get around it. Everybody and their mom didn't have access to get into gold. And then not to mention when 2008 happened, it was all at once. It wasn't like a slow trickle. It was boom. Everything went left. Banks were closing. The stock market went bad. Everybody's real estate deals were falling through. 401ks were going missing. It was all at once at one time. There was no buildup, right? With this, we're starting to see the signs of 2008 every single day. Banks getting weird, government doing weird things, war overseas, different agreements happening with different nations, Russia and China becoming friends. And now we're like, wait a minute. If the dollar's doing the same thing we saw in 2008, oh man, I should look to get. And now people are starting to look for ideas of getting out. This is why we see Bitcoin becoming more attractive, because it gives you that outage. It gives you that option to not participate in the legacy system anymore. So when I see stuff like this happening, and I keep telling you guys, one of my biggest fears is that you guys won't be able to exit and have the option to buy Bitcoin if they cut off all the ramps for you guys to get off into Bitcoin. Let's say Coinbase goes out of business, or they shut it down where you can't use credit cards on Coinbase anymore. They shut it down where you can't use your Cash App to buy Bitcoin anymore. They shut it down where you can't use your credit card to buy Bitcoin or crypto on, you know, crypto.com or any of these exchanges. Now, all of a sudden, you can't even use VPNs. So you can't even mask your IP to set up a website to go somewhere else across the world and buy crypto, right? Because there's a bill right now that's looking to ban VPNs in America. All of this stuff lines up into an area where it's saying, we need you Americans trapped in the system. We don't want you to have an option out. This is the stuff I try to get you guys to understand. And when I break it down for you guys, and I'm not doing it to scare you. I'm not doing it to bring all that kind of energy. I just want you to be mindful of the type of games that are being played so you can be informed and make an informed decision, right? So when it's time to say, you know what, I'm going to get paid next week. Let me move a little bit into crypto just for safekeeping and see where this goes. You know what, let me put a little bit into gold just to see if this market's going to get weird and I can see it jump. Because here's the thing. If the dollar falls apart and you have assets like gold or Bitcoin, how are you going to start to get the value back, right? Are you going to sell it to buy more dollars that are worth less? Or are you going to hold on to it and find a different currency to utilize? And that's the beauty of having something like Bitcoin, because it's already built to have a monetary system where you can spend and receive and have that denomination because it's very fungible, right? That fungibility of Bitcoin, it's almost like it was built for the future. I keep telling you guys, this stuff we're seeing right now with the dollar, this is why Bitcoin was created back in 2009. Because after '08, we were like, dude, we don't have an option. We got to keep going through this every 10 years. This is horrible. Like, bankers get all this bailout money and then put everybody in the country in a situation every 10 years. And we can't opt out of it. We don't get a say so. And then along comes Bitcoin, and the first thing they do, we gotta ban this thing. It's people are gonna lose. And it's like, no, Bitcoin hasn't hurt anybody. It hasn't taken anybody's money. It hasn't stolen anything. It hasn't hacked anybody. All it does is give you options. And that's one thing you have to learn. In America, if you're not rich, they don't want you to have options. If you're not wealthy, they don't want you to have a say-so and stuff. And it's my job as an educator to show you, hey, this is why we got to take our power back. Because we've been taught to give it away freely and not even question it. Right? You use a bank every single day and they take your money and make money on it and they give you crumbs for interest. Right? When you got crypto, but I can show you how to get a wallet, right? We can get involved with certain things. We can find certain areas where you have that ownership, and those wallets like Exodus allow you to stake your crypto where you can get certain percentages, right? I was talking about this earlier, where inside the Exodus wallet, what do we see? We got something like Cosmos, right? Cosmos has a 21.20% yield. Could you imagine leaving 100 grand in your bank account and at the end of the year you come back and there's 20 grand waiting on you for doing nothing? That would be lit. You would love the banks, but that don't happen, right? You leave 100 grand in the bank, they're going to give you just enough for a hot and ready or a Subway sandwich. All right. So you got to be real savvy. That's why a lot of people get into certain investments like real estate or e-commerce and using their money to make money, right? When you leave your money in a bank, you're really just losing money because inflation is slowly eating away at your spending power. So money that sits still doesn't work. Remember, we talked about this. This is why they call our money a currency, right? It's like electrical current. When you cut that current off, when you cut that light switch off, the current stops moving, lights go off, right? When your money's not moving, it's dead. Money in the bank is dead money. Your money has to be moving. It has to be active. While you sleeping, your money should be sweating. It should be working overtime, right? What's that Michael Jackson song? Got me working day and night. That's how your money should feel every single day. All right. I'm just saying. All right. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Hello? My bad. Yeah, my bad, y'all. That was my daughter. I had to, sorry. Y'all normally, I do not answer my phone on Go Live. I was sending it into voicemail, but that's my baby, so my bad. So, I always want to make sure that everything I do is, yeah. This Cobain is my rich dad. Oh, man. Don't be laughing at my singing either. That song was, I used to be at skating, getting it. I'm like, okay. That Michael Jackson song used to have me lit. Let me see here. Because it's a part where he breathed like, got me working day and night. I feel it, baby. Like, I'd be gigging, okay? Don't let, like, I Am have, like, a skating party. Oh, my God. I will travel with my skates to do that party, all right? Let's see here. It says definitely be calling this has got to be cautious with your stablecoin choices. Not, dude, big facts. Let's see here. And then have the nerve to be insolvent at that. Man, like, how you getting bailouts and then don't have no money, right? like what are y'all really doing? Because I'm like, at this point, it's banks versus banks, and y'all keep finding ways to be broke. Like, everybody broke. Like, bro, who getting the money then? I need to know. Like, I'm like, this is why I love blockchain, because I'm like, somebody getting broke off. Like, we had never seen this much money being printed in human history, and somehow we don't know what happened. Like, all the banks broke. So that lets me know right there, if all the banks are insolvent, or most of these banks are having issues, that lets me know right there, a lot of wealthy people got really wealthier. Right? If that's even a word, wealthier, right? Because we know wealthy people Wealthy people don't keep their money where? So just saying, I'm just saying, when you see stuff like this, prices bouncing, pulling back down again. When I go down and stuff like this, guys, I'm looking at these charts. I'm thinking to myself, okay, bro, the market came down, low point to my highest point here. And now I'm looking at this where, am I going to see some buyer momentum? Okay, cool, great, awesome. Price bounced, took back off, came back down, tested my level, closed below, jumped back up again, closed below, stayed below, and now we're trying to move back up. This is a bad sign for the dollar, not for crypto, for the dollar. This dollar is running out of steam and it's losing its strength. It's testing levels, pulling up, coming back down, big V moves, big move up, big move down, and then making lower low. So we just gonna ignore structure. We're not gonna talk about the fact that low, high, higher low, lower high, lower low. So officially right now, we're trending down on the 30, right? And this is one of my areas where I like looking for setups as well, but I'm like, this is a downtrend right now, right? Prices are moving lower, right? If I use a fib from this high point down to this low point here, we came right back up, 786, drop off. Like, I can't make this stuff up. So if I'm seeing this stuff kind of fall back down and make lower low, nope. This looked like a whole setup for another move lower, right? So now for me, I'm looking left. I'm looking at structure. I got drop, base, drops, drop, base, drops. Okay. Where's the next area where I can see potential selling pressure right now? Okay. Right up in here. It's looking pretty curious for maybe a nice sell to the downside. Let's see how the market plays out. I look left. Maybe a little bit of a jump up test, or maybe a quick little back and forth here, and then another jump into this zone. A little wick comes up and tests this area, and we fall back down again. So I'll box up both zones just to be on the cautious side of things. All right, we'll make that one orange just so it stands out a little bit. But yeah, guys, that's the type of stuff that I'm on right now when I'm seeing the markets. Like, I can't blindly just say, oh, it's all gonna work out, because we got Jerome and we got Byron and everybody's all nah, dog. Just talk to CT. CT ain't about to throw those skates. I gotta talk to Wes. If I talk to Wes Melcher, the guy who runs TLX, we might be able to get a skating party, bro. Like hit him up next time you guys are on like a TLX session, or you guys can get him on IG. Like, say Cobain wants to throw a skating party. He might do it. Me and Wes got cool over the last few events, so he might throw it. Tell Wes I said shout out to Wes. His parties slap. Every party he throws is a different type of level. I'm like, bro, I don't know how you do it, but your party's lit. Every single party has been lit. Let me see here. This crypto has to prove their reserves, but banks, bruh, don't get me started, Storm Child, bro. And the thing is, when banks fail, nobody's up in arms. There's no crazy probe into what's going on, right? We seeing CEOs sell their shares of the bank days before, weeks before, and I'm sitting here like, so when Terra Luna went belly up, we found every big entity that was investing in Terra Luna, from real estate companies to banks to tech companies. We was able to get all in the minutia to find out who was dealing with Terra, right? When FTX fell apart, we was able to find all the contagions that were going on with FTX, who was what, how they did their taxes, all of that stuff. A bank goes belly up, and it's like, it's recession, everybody's having a hard time, and I thought this was America. I'm sorry, I thought this was America, right? Like, bro, how are we this lenient when these institutions that get trillions of dollars just lose it all? Every 10 years, like, poof, a goose, right? Like, just gone. Every time, I'm like, bro, I'm trying. I'm just having a hard time allowing a lot of this stuff to slide when we see the same old patterns every single time, guys. So, yeah, right now, I'm looking at these areas. Now, here's the other thing about it. This zone right now is layered on top of another area. right? So let me see if I can pull this up real quick. Wrong one. Low point, high point, right? This is an old fib level right here, right? 50%, 618 zone right here. Pay attention to this area, right? When price was leaving this zone, what did it do? Broke below, retested off of it, major selling pressure down. This was once a zone that we were looking for buying pressure, and we did not find it. Keep that in mind. Low point to high point. From low to high, we're looking for a buy. So 50% 618. Let's see those buyers show up. What happened? Price broke below, came back, tested off the top of the level, broke back down, tested it, broke back down, tried to make a big move up, tested that 786 level from this previous high, major move down, kissed it one more time, drop off. We may not even make it back up to this level, but if we do, obviously there's a ton of selling pressure right here now. Ton of selling pressure right here now. This bottom of this zone has already shown us that there's no buyers in this area. So just these moves up are just constantly pushing us back up for another lower low, pushing us back up for another lower low. Once the dollar gets back into this area, guys, this could be the next big sign for Bitcoin to go on its next rally. Just saying. So I'm giving you guys the next area, so you got to really, I'm mad y'all knew that Randy Marsh reference. I'm sorry. I thought this is America. That episode had me dying. We're going to vote for Obama. We want change. I thought this was America. Like, South Park be having me screaming, bro. But yeah, it's a whole thing. I mean, y'all be knowing my jokes, man. It gets me sometimes when y'all be knowing. I'm just saying. All right, y'all. So, yeah, for the most part, this area here, we're going to keep an eye out for it. I'm seeing what's going on with BTC. So, with BTC, we could see what? Go back over here. We could see a potential retracement down, right? Did I put it here? We can see a potential retracement down into some levels and then another move higher, right? So let me, obviously I just showed you guys we're looking for selling pressure. Let's go from low to the high, right? Right down here. Actually, I'm just gonna use this box because we ain't doing nothing with it. Let's recycle. So this area here could become a zone where Bitcoin retraces back to, let's say, 24, right? Let's go ahead back up to our higher time frame. What do we talk about? This area here that was once for sellers created a what? Rally, base, rally for buyers now. So now we have our inverse setup. Rally, base, rally, take off to the upside. We pull back, test this level. Boom, the dollar pulls back as well because you know it's the inverse relationship. Dollar gives us a nice pullback as well. And all of a sudden we start to see this back and forth give and take from the dollar and Bitcoin. And boom, we get a takeoff move, right? So with that being said, I'm going to wrap us up there, guys. I know y'all like, bro, it's been an hour already. I'm not going to lie. I gotta call my daughter back too. So it's a thing. But I will be back on with you guys. I'm actually going to be on Roundtable tomorrow as well. So see you guys there for that. And I'll be back on with Mike so we can release the coin list. I got to do some more work with the coin list. I got to make it look all purdy. So I got some work to do. I got some dad duties to do. But I definitely do appreciate you guys just coming to hang out with me, getting a little bit of sauce, seeing some of my insight and how I research things, how I process things, and just kind of give you guys a little bit of ideas of like when I am researching stuff. It's not so much about like just what the chart always says. It's always that deeper view into stuff. Right, you want to kind of do that extra mile when you're going to do your work. Like you want to be very mindful of how this stuff looks, not just for you on a chart, but what is big money seeing too, right? Like that goes a long way. All right, fam. So I appreciate you guys. Stay tuned to DCX. It's about to get crazy. All right, it's Big Papa Kurt. I mean, I'm not Big Papa Pump. You know, I'm not Freakzilla. I'm not the genetic freak. I'm not Scott Steiner. But you know, I do what I can. I'm working on it, man. It's getting there. All right. So you guys have a blessed one. I appreciate you guys. You guys know how we do, man. And as always, stay patient, stay disciplined, and the gains will come. I'm out. And oh yeah, Good night, everybody. Stay blessed, family. I appreciate you guys. Always, always, always love hanging out with you guys, cracking jokes, getting a little insight, having a little bit of vibe time with y'all. I'll be back on with you guys, like I said, tomorrow. I'll be on the round table with Ivan and the boys, and then I'll be back on with Mike on Wednesday. So we definitely got some sauce. And obviously, you know, Thursdays. We're going to have a guest this Thursday. I know I've been kind of hanging out with y'all. Y'all actually been loving the mindset stuff. I love that y'all love that, man. Like, because I like doing mindset. Y'all already talking about Kurt need to be on MMX. I'm like, well, we doing crypto mindset. I'm doing a little bit of everything right now, but I love doing mindset work with y'all. It's always fun seeing you guys get that aha moment in some of it. So if you haven't seen it, go check out my personal channel. We got mindset work up there too. The last one was pretty lit. All right, guys. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys. See you guys tomorrow. Let's get this back. Let's go. Let's go. Marvel moment. So just want to tell you I love y'all, man. Like I've been literally since January. I've flown to Spain. I've been in Spain for 2 weeks. And in Spain, we went from Barcelona to Malaga, Madrid, Granada, and then we left and went to Portugal, Lisbon, Portugal. And then from there, came home, relaxed for a while, did an event in Paris for a while. We hung out with some of the Paris leaders. Crazy event. Shout out to Guillaume and Ilya. I love those guys. And then after that, flew back home, did an event in Montreal, which was lit. Shout out to Edwin and the squad out there. The whole Montreal team, y'all lit. And then from there, I think Matt Rose is in Canada right now as well, right? Did that. Then came back and then did the event over in Rotterdam, hung out there, had to stop in Amsterdam for a few days, stopped in London for a day, then flew to New York for a day, then came home to repack my bag just to go to Orlando and do that event, which was lit. So it's been a lot, guys. And I just, from all the events, from all the travel, like I'm grateful for you guys, man. Like I love what I get to do. And just being able to share the knowledge and see you guys have those aha moments and hear the testimonies from you guys coming and doing the work and watching the videos. It's like, it puts a different type of fire in me to go harder in the paint for you guys. So I just need you guys to know, like, all the stuff you guys do, when you guys do the work, it makes me want to go harder so we can have bigger testimonies, more success, more blessings, right? I feel like DJ Khaled right now. All right, so more love, more life, more blessings. God did. All right, y'all. So I'm going to go ahead and let y'all go. All right, fam. Love you guys. See you.